Hi and welcome to EDH Spellcasters. This is the first video of our channel and we are your hosts. I'm Sara and this is Nuno. We decided to invite our friends João and Felipe to film our first Commander video. This is our first game session, so let's see how it goes and hope you have fun with us.
Enjoy it.
So, let's talk about our commanders for today. I will play Dihada, Binder of Wills. It's a Legendary Matters deck with a Treasure subteam. I can choose to give legendary creatures Vigilance, Lifelink and Indestructibility in the end of my next turn, or I can do the -3 to reveal the top of 4 cards of my library, put any number of legendaries from among them into my hands, and the next into my graveyard, and create a treasure token for each card put in the graveyard this way. Filippo will play with the First Sliver. It is a Sliver type deck. When you cast it, it has Cascade, and all other Sliver spells have Cascade as well. He will try to build up a board, ramping and pumping them up. João will bring us Vrestin, Menoptra Leader. João will ramp until he has enough mana to bring his commander to the board and create a huge insect swarm with flying. It is also a counters deck to make them bigger and kill us all in a blow. Nuno brings us Kiora, Sovereign of the Deep, a typal deck but not completely, more of a Simic value deck. He will try also to ramp as fast as possible so he can put Kiora on the board. Whenever he plays a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus or Serpent from his hand, he will be able to look at the X cards of his library where X is the spell's mana value, and he may cast a spell with mana value less than X from them without paying its mana cost. So let's see how it goes. Draw for turn, and I play a Nomad Outpost tapped. Filippo draws for turn, and he plays an Exotic Orchard. Draws for turn and plays a Gavany Township. Nuno draws for turn and plays an island, taps the island and plays a Soul Ring. Untap, draw for turn. I play a mountain, tap for 2, and I play a Talisman of Hierarchy. Filippo draws for turn. Taps a Plains, taps for 2, and he plays a Sinuous Sliver. So now all slivers get +1/+1. The turn is now passed to João, that plays an Animal Sanctuary as a land for turn, and taps 2 for a Talisman of Unity. The turn is passed to Nuno. He plays an Avimaya Coast as land for turn, taps it to add green, takes 1 damage, and plays Kiora's Follower. Untap, draw. I play a Luxury Suite as land for turn. I tap for red, black, colorless and white. And play Queen Marchesa. She enters with haste and attacks Nuno, that takes 3 damage. And I pass the turn. Filippo untaps and plays a mountain for turn. And he taps 3 mana and plays a Coalition Relic. A bit late, but I remembered that I did not draw from the Monarch last turn, so I did it. João untaps Draw for the turn. He plays a forest as a land for turn. He pays 1 life for the talisman and taps 2 lands, plays Ghostly Prison and passes the turn. Nunu untaps, draws for turn, plays an island and passes the turn. I untap, draw for turn, I play Plaza of Heroes as a land for turn. I tap 4 mana and I cast my commander, Dihada, Binder of Wills. I will use her +2 ability, so Dihada goes up to 7. And I will give the abilities to Queen Marchesa, that now has Vigilance, Lifelink, Indestructible, besides Death, Touch and Haste until my next turn. I declare that I go to combat, and Nunu responds by tapping and untapping his Soul Ring, using Kiora's ability, more 2 lands, and casting Tricks, the Sudden Storm with Flash. It is a 4/5 elemental giant with flying that also reduces the mana cost of spells. I decide to attack Filippo with Queen Marchesa. Filippo takes 3 life, and I gain 3 life from her lifelink ability. I end the turn, and I draw from the Monarch. At the end of my end step, Filippo will tap his Coalition Relic to add 1 counter. In the beginning of his turn, he will untap it and his lands. He will draw for turn. He plays a forest for turn. He will tap for 5 mana and also remove a counter from the Coalition Relic. He will then play his commander and cascade for 4. He gets Dragscape Sliver out of the cascade. João will tap for 3 mana, losing 1 life. And playing Scud Swarm. He will then play his land for turn, activating Scud Swarm's landfall ability and creating a 1/1 green insect token. He will then tap for 2 to cast Sakura Tribe Elder. And he will then pass the turn. The turn is now passed to Nunu. Nunu taps for 4 mana, losing 1 life for the Yavimaya Coast, and casting his commander Kiora. He then proceeds to attack me with the Elemental Giant. I have no blocker, so I have to take 4. Going to 39. Nunu now becomes the Monarch, and he will go to his end step. And because he is the Monarch, he will draw. The turn is then passed on to me. I will untap, and on my upkeep I will create a 1/1 assassin token from Marchesa. I will then draw for turn, and play a Sacred Foundry as my land for turn, paying 2 life for it to be able to enter untapped, going to 37. I will +2 Dihada's ability, going to 9 loyalty counters and giving the abilities to Queen Marchesa again. I will then attack Nunu with Queen Marchesa and Filippo with the 1/1 token with Death Touch and Haste. Before taking the damage, Filippo asks Nunu if he has any responses, which he does. He will use Kiora's follower's ability to untap his Soul Ring. He untaps his Soul Ring +2 lands to cast an Engulf the Shore, returning all creatures with toughness 3 or less to their owner's hands. This resolves, and my token is exiled. I then cast Marchesa again, becoming the Monarch. I tap 1 mana and lose 1 life for the talisman, going to 36, and I cast Call of the Ring. Then I pass the turn. And I draw from the Monarch, and then I pass the turn. Filippo draws for turn. And he plays a Plains. He casts First Sliver again, cascading for 1. And getting an Universal Automaton. He will not cascade for 0, since he will not have any targets on this deck. Filippo then casts a Pillar of Origins. Then a Winged Sliver and cascades for 1. It is a fail to find, so he just shuffles his deck. He then proceeds to attack Dihada, that takes 8 damage, going to 1. It is João's turn again. Draws for turn. And taps for mana. Playing a Scootswarm. He then plays a command tower, activating Scootswarm's trigger and creating a 1/1 insect. He then casts Sakura again. Passing the turn. The turn is then passed to Nuno and taps his lands, draws for turn. He then plays a forest. Nuno attacks me with the giant, and I take 4, going to 32. He also attacks João with Kiora, that blocks with Sakura Tribe Elder. He sacrifices it to get a land, tapped, and putting it on the battlefield. Doing this does a landfall trigger from the Scootswarm, creating another 1/1 insect. Nuno will then cast Kiora's follower again. He goes to his end step, and he will draw because he's the monarch again. I untap. On my upkeep, I create another assassin token. I will choose to Ring Tempt, choosing Marchesa again as a ring bearer. I will pay 2 life, going to 30, for the Call of the Rings ability. I then draw and draw for turn. I pay 5 mana to cast Malik, the Green Manipulator. I will choose Filippo as my target opponent, and we will both secretly choose a creature. If Filippo guesses the creature I choose, he will only sacrifice that one. If not, he will have to sacrifice 2 creatures. I will then be able to create a treasure for each creature sacrificed. It is good that Filippo did not get my choice, So he sacrifices the First Sliver and the Winged Sliver. I will then create 2 treasures. I use Dihada's +2 ability on Marchesa once again, and Dihada goes to 3. I declare attackers, Marchesa goes to Nunu, that will take 3 damage, and I will gain 3 life, becoming the Monarch again. I will then play Gadrak, the Ground Surge. At the end of my end step, I will create 2 treasure tokens because 2 non-token creatures die this turn. I will also draw from Monarch and discard for hand size. Flip, who draws for turn, and plays a Path of Ancestry. He then casts the First Sliver again, and cascades for 4, getting a Leeching Sliver. He will not cascade again since it would be a fail to find. Now is João's turn. He draws for turn. Taps his talisman, loses 1 life. João casts Austere Command and destroys all creatures with mana 4 or above and all artifacts. Uno responds, casting Tamio Safekeeping to give Kiora Indestructible and Hexproof until the end of turn, and he will also gain 2 life. Passing on to Nunu's turn. He untaps. He will cast Soulbreaker Horror. On cast, he will trigger Kiora, looking at the top 7 cards of his deck. He will choose a card with 6 or less mana to cast without paying its mana cost. Nuno casted Storm Surge Kraken. It resolves, and Nuno returns João's Ghostly Prison back to his hands. The turn is then passed to me. On the upkeep, I will ring tempt, going to the second phase. And I will choose Queen Marchesa once again as my ring bearer. I will lose 2 life for Call of the Ring, so I can draw a card. And then I draw for turn. I will +2 Dihada again with Queen Marchesa as a target once again as well. I will then cast an Animate Dead, bringing Malik back from the graveyard. This time, I will choose Nuno as my target. Unfortunately, we both chose the same creature, so Hullbreaker Horror is sacrificed, and I only create 1 treasure. I will go to combat, attacking Nuno with Marchesa, and Nuno loses 3 life, and I gain 3 life. I cast Varagoth. A bit late, as I forgot to do it on attack, I draw and discard for my Ring Bearer's ability. On my end step, I will create 2 treasures, and I will draw from Monarch. It is now Filippo's turn. He casts a Spitting Sliver, giving all his slivers first strike. He scries 1. puts the card to the bottom and passes the turn to João. João plays a Thriving Grove tapped and chooses white. This activates Good Swarm's landfall ability, creating 2 copies of it, since the copy also sees the lands entering. João then taps 6 mana to cast his commander that enters with 3+1/+1 counters and creating 3 inset tokens with flying. João decides he will attack. Then he rethinks his plan and decides to pass the turn. The turn is then passed to Nuno. Nuno plays a Cultivate. And searches his library for 2 forests. One of the forests goes to his hand. And the other one on the battlefield. Nuno then plays a Displacement Wave, returning all non-end permanents with 3 or less converted mana costs to their owner's hands. Nuno goes to attacks. He attacks Filippo with Kiora and João with the 7/7 Kraken. They take the damage. I play Vial Smasher. And then I cast Animate Dead again, choosing Malik as a target from my graveyard. I choose Nuno as my target opponent again, This time I win, and he has to sacrifice both his creatures, and I gain 2 treasures. I tap 2 mana, take 1 life, and play Call of the Ring. I plus 2 Dihada to Queen Marchesa again. I will attack João with Dihada. I will draw and discard from Monarch. I will gain 3 life, and João loses 3 life. On my end step, I will draw from Monarch, and I will pass the turn. Filippo casts First Sliver again. And then he casts Might Sliver, scrying 1, and now all slivers have +2/+2. So now all slivers have +3/+3 and first strike. Filippo then decides to attack Nuno, that takes 6 damage. The turn is on João, that plays a Ghostly Prison. And the Nesting Dovehawk. On Nuno's turn, he will play Goreclaw. And then once again Kiora's Follower. He then proceeds to pass the turn. I untap. Now my Ring Bearer is Vile Smasher, which now makes him legendary. I lose 2 life, and I draw. And I draw for turn. I use the +2's ability on Vile Smasher. That now gives him lifelink and all the other abilities from Dihada. As my first spell for the turn, I will cast V2 Thorn of the Dusk Rose. So Vile Smasher will trigger. And Filippo will take 3 damage, and I will gain 3 life. I also play a Mirkwood Bats. So each time I create or sacrifice a token, each opponent will lose 1 life. I will play 2 treasures for the Ghostly Prison, So can I attack João? Mirkwood Bat's trigger. So each opponent loses 2 life. And Vile Smasher goes to flip. Flip blocks with the 5/5, and I gain 2 life from Vile Smasher. V2 triggers, and Flipu takes 2 life. I play Mox Amber. And I pass the turn. I draw from Monarch. Flipu plays a Pulmonic Sliver, and all his slivers have flying again. He scries one, and it goes to the bottom. Flipu casts a Leeching Sliver. So whenever a sliver he controls attacks, defending player will lose 1 life. He decides to attack me. Flipu is attacking me with First Strike and Flying for 15 damage. I take 15 damage, and I go to 24. Flipu is now the Monarch. Flipu then passes a turn to João. That plays his land for turn. João's commander enters again, with 5 counters and creating 5 insects. João attacks Dihada with the 7/7. João decides to populate, and she is now an 8/8. I block with Mirkwood Bats that dies. And João passes the turn. Nunu casts Kiora again, which is costing 2 less. And also casts a Palantir. On his end step, he will put an influence counter on the Palantir and scry 2. He gives Roan 2 options. He lets him draw, or Nunu mills cards equals to influence counters, and he loses life equals to the mana value of those cards. João is deciding what to do. João decides to risk it, Nunu mills a card, and João takes 8 damage. On my upkeep, on my last stage of the ring, I pay 2 life, I draw a card. And draw for turn. I plus 2 Dihada to 11, and the target is Vile Smasher. I tap for 6 mana. And I cast Shemil. Trigger from Vile Smasher. And I will give 6 damage randomly to an opponent. Nunu takes the damage. And I gain 6 life. V2 triggers. So since João has a Ghostly Prison, he's the target and loses 6 life. Vile Smasher goes to Flipu. Attack trigger, I draw and discard. Flipu takes 2 damage. I gain 2 life. João takes 2 life again from Vito's trigger. And from the Ring Bearer's trigger, each opponent takes 3 life. I cast Gadrak of the Crown Surge. And I pass to my end step. And I discover 5 from Shimil's ability. I discover Atsushi, and I play it on the board. I draw from Monarch, and I pass the turn. Flip one taps. Flip scries one. It was a land, so it goes to the bottom. And casts an Universal Automaton. Also an Arcane Signet. Then Filippo decides to go all attack to me. Before attacks, I will pay 1 life for 1 mana and cast an Enlightened Tutor. Vile Smasher triggers. And the damage went to João. Vito triggers. I gain 1 life, João takes the damage, and he dies. On the declaration of attack from Filippo, I lose 7. I decide to block with Atsushi and Gadrak. But it's not enough, so I die as well. Now is Nunu's turn. Nunu casts Sharik's The Raging Isle. He also casts Troyan the Gutsy Explorer. Nunu attacks Filippo, and Filippo takes 12 damage. Nunu is now the Monarch. Nunu casts a Consuming Tide. Nunu will put an influence counter on the Palantir and scry. Goes to the bottom. Then Filippo has to choose again. Filippo chose Nunu to draw. Nunu passes a turn, and then it's Filippo's turn. Filippo casts a Telekinetic Sliver and scries 1. He leaves it on top. and passes the turn. It's Nuno's turn again. He casts Goreclaw again. And casts Kiora. He puts an influence counter on the Palantir. And draws. He discards 2 cards. And passes the turn. It is Filippo's turn again. Filippo casts a Cloud-Shaded Sliver, so now all slivers have flying and haste. Filippo also casts Dragscape Sliver and a Leeching Sliver. He scries. For declaring attackers, Nunu casts a Tail Swipe and fights with a sliver that gives +2/+2. Filippo then responds with Sino Flash, giving +2/+2. Now his slivers are +5/+5 and wins the game. And what a fun game it was!